Welcome everybody. Welcome to day number 10 of Ramadan's live Ramadan training by Kids for Kids. Today we have a lot more amazing stuff lined up for you, so let's get started. I'm going to introduce the Mia sisters, that's Nishal, Ikra, and Aisha, and they're going to be teaching us some names of Allah. So I'm going to hand it over to you guys.
Okay, let me just share my screen.
Someone like
Wait, Aisha. You can get started.
someone like me here.
Welcome to day 10 of learning and memorizing the beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Subhanallah, it has already been 10 days. I am having so much fun. So let's get started. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا زد لي علما
رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي.
The names for today are Al-Latif, Al-Hadil, Al-Latif, Al-Kabir. Yeah. Al-Latif means that all subtle.
Stop texting.
Aisha, how many times does it come in the Quran?
Sorry.
This name is referred to in the Quran but does not come as full name.
Oh, you have to read more. No.
Ikra, are you there?
Yep. Okay. Al-Adl. From the verb adala, to act justly or to treat equitably. From the root adl, which has the following classical Arabic connotations. Noun al-adl or al-adla means the exercise of authority in maintenance of right and just conduct, or in simple words, the justice. When we say someone is adl, he is just and fair-minded. This name goes along with the name we learned yesterday, al-Hakam, the judge. And it was also said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ahkamul hakimin, the most just of judges. Behold, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enjoins justice and the doing of good, and generosity towards one's fellow man. And he forbids all that is shameful and all that runs counter to reason, as well as envy, and he exhorts you repeatedly so that you might bear all this in mind. He, one who rectifies and sets matters straight in a fair, impartial and equitable manner. He is the one who always acts justly, the one who delivers absolute justice, the one whose wisdom of justice is based upon complete knowledge of the past, present, and future. Rather, he grants everyone what is due to him. He puts everything in its right place. Nothing ensues from him except justice. He does whatever he pleases, and his decree regarding his servants is carried out. In Surah Al-An'am, the Almighty says, "And the word of your Lord has been accomplished truly and justly. No one can change his words, and he is the hearing, the knowing." He enjoins justice and equity and says the following in Surah Al-Nisa, when you judge between people, you should judge with justice. Surely Allah admonishes you with what is excellent. Surely Allah is seeing and hearing. There are many traditions narrated about. There are 7 types of people who Allah will shade on the day when there will be no shade except His. A just imam, a young man who grows up adoring Allah, a man whose heart is always attracted to the mosque, 2 men who love one another for the sake of Allah. They meet and they part only accordingly. A man sought leave of woman, prominence and beauty for whom he says, I fear Allah, and a man who pays charity and hides his actions, so much so that his left hand does not know what his right hand gives away, and a man who mentions the name of Allah for the sake of remembering Him while his tears overflow.
Al-Latif.
Al-Latif means the all subtle in the subtles and comes in the Quran 7 times in 7 different chapters.
Yes. Al-Latif, the name, comes from the verb latafa, and it primarily means the lightness of being present. So to not even make your presence known. So it's kind of like you're there, but you're not there, like that type of way. Yeah, it's basically to be very discreet. Latafa is to do what you need to do without making your presence felt. And it also means to be aware. When Allah is Al-Latif, it carries 2 meanings which both complement one another. The first meaning is the one who is aware of the hidden affairs. So the one who knows like that which is hidden. He is aware of the secrets, even though we may not have been aware that we told anyone. We try to hide so many things, and we tend to do things in private so no one can see. But Al-Latif is aware of all of your secrets and so much more. The second meaning is Al-Latif is the one whose mercy reaches you in manners that you don't even understand. He is the one who shall bless you and you don't even know that you were blessed. He takes care of your affairs without you understanding that how they were taken care of. That is what Al-Latif applies. That the rahmah comes and you don't even know how or when until you look back and you realize that, oh, wow, that thing that was sent down, that was a blessing. Or sometimes the saying is, it's a blessing in disguise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showers us with so much blessings, but we are unaware of so many of those. He is generous to his servants in secret, so much so that even the servants, even we sometimes do not realize where the generosity is coming from, how our affairs are being taken care of. So Allah is Al-Latif, and one of the main blessings or main manifestations of this name is rizq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us so much rizq, and that's connected to Al-Latif. Allah is the subtle power behind every manifestation, whether that's being seen, heard, smelt, tasted, or touched, whether that's known or even unknown. And how can Allah not know when He created you? He is Al-Khaliq. He created you out of nothing and everything else in existence. So doesn't it make sense that He knows everything, even that which we hide from everyone else, that which is in our hearts, everything? Even if it is the most minuscule thing and you put it in any part of the world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Now, the proper noun Al-Latif comes in the Quran 5 times as a proper name. And 2 of those times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses it as a direct description of Himself, which is rare. But it goes to show the importance of this name, the name Al-Latif. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is directly stating Himself by this name because He wants us to know the importance and the significance that He knows everything. He is aware of everything. And Allah's names, as we know, they're not just 99 names. Allah has infinite amount of names. Hundreds come only in the Quran and Sunnah. And from those hundreds, scholars have to extract the prime 99 names. So whenever a proper noun appears in the Quran, it is 100% from the 99. So as the name Al-Latif, it comes as a proper noun. It comes as the name Al-Latif in the Quran. That's why we know 100% that is from the beautiful 99 names. It gets confusing afterwards. We did previously talk about this, how scholars extract verbs from the Quran or adjectives from the Quran and Sunnah, like group them into the 99 names, but we won't get into that right now. And let's move on.
Al-Kabir means the all-knowing. This name also appears in 4 different chapters.
Al-Khabir, the all-knowing. Al-Latif is the one who is aware of the hidden, whereas Al-Khabir is the one who is aware of the open, the all-knowing. Khabir comes from the root khabara, which points to 2 main meanings. The first main meaning is to know or to be aware and to understand the reality of or inner nature of something. The second main meaning is to test, prove, and try by experience, which results in inner knowledge. He is the one who is aware of hidden occurrences in everything. He is the one who reaches the deepest, darkest, hidden corners of his kingdom. There's nothing that he doesn't know. Al-Khabir knows the innermost of everything. Nothing takes place in his dominion without his knowledge. No atom moves nor stands still, nor a soul is upset or eased except that he knows about. He is the one from whose knowledge nothing in the earth or heavens is hidden. Nothing moves in the heavens or in the earth except that he knows about its final resting point or destination. Scholars have distinguished between Al-Khabir and Al-Alim. The first connotes knowledge, but when knowledge is applied to hidden matters, it is then called Khibra, and the one who knows it is called Al-Khabir. Al-Khabir himself says, he is the knower of the unseen and the unwitnessed, and the witness, and he is the wise, the acquainted. Vision perceives him not, but he perceives all vision, and he is the subtle, the acquainted. All praise is due to Allah, to whom belongs whatever it is in the heavens and whatever it is in the earth, and to him belongs all the praise in the hereafter, and he is the wise, the acquainted. We should be comforted by Al-Khabir. Allah, Al-Khabir, is the one who is aware of all you do, say, hide, and want. Let this amazing fact comfort you in times of hardship. And in times of ease, remind yourself not to get too attached to this world and its material benefits. Allah beautifully says, does he who created you, who created not know while he is the subtle, the acquainted? And second of all, you should know that Al-Khabir will inform you. Not only Allah is acquainted with all your deeds on the day of judgment, he will inform you about all you used to do. Remember this each day and let it motivate you and just make your heart happy. When you slip, ask him for forgiveness in this life so you will be saved from his punishment in the next. Ameen. This is Allah, your Lord. To him belongs sobriety. And those whom you invoke other than him do not possess as much the membranes of a date seed. If you invoke them, they do not hear your supplication. And if they heard, they will not respond to you. And on the day of resurrection, they will deny your association. And none of them can inform you like one acquainted with all matters.
Also, I forgot to mention, Al-Latif, we talked about how it's like in the Quran 5 times as a proper noun. Every single one of those times, it is always paired with Al-Khabir. So those two kind of go hand in hand, as Ikra talked about in the first part.
We have a question for you.
So we want you guys to come on the mic, or for those watching later on, comment in the comments below. What is one name that impacted you the most from the ones that we have done so far? So those on Zoom, come on the mic, turn on your mics, and you don't have to raise your hand, just come on and share with us.
Can I go?
Yeah, sure.
I would do Al Khabir because and the all knowing, because even if anything that you're trying to do is hidden, you're trying to hide it from everybody, he still knows that that's happening.
I think you are you referring to Al Latif, I think, the one who knows like the hidden
Oh yeah,
affairs.
sorry.
Anyone else?
Yes, mine is the same, Al-Latif, the Al-Sabah, because like all of the rahmas that we have, all of the rizq that we have, sometimes we don't even understand where it's coming from, and that was him, and he's giving it to us secretly.
Yes, subhanAllah. I loved hearing about that too. We'll take one more person, so someone wanna come on?
I would also say Al-Latif because it's like, it's not one of the things that you see. It's not one of the things that you would necessarily hear, but it's the things that we know in our heart. So I would say that one definitely stood out to me the most.
Yes, subhanAllah. And yeah, I think it's good to move on.
We have a star student this week. Woohoo!
Our first student is Huda Hanif, our second student is Rehana Ismail, and our third student is Imran Ismail.
So for Huda has been, I don't know if she's in the class right now, but she has been coming on Zoom, and she's actually on like the other side of the world. So she's getting up like before Sehri and joining us in these classes. Or if she can't make it, she always comments in the YouTube videos. So we really appreciate that. Not to mention the beautiful calligraphy art that she did yesterday for the name As-Sami.
Rehana and Imran have been commenting and participating in every single video as well. Keep up the great work, guys. So we want to just recognize all of you. You guys are doing great, mashallah. Keep it up.
Kill.
Assalamu alaikum.
Mia out.
All right, so thank you, Mia sisters. We learned many great names of Allah, and today we're actually graced by the presence of Fatima, who is going to be teaching us the tafsir of Surah Hujurat, so she can get started.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome to Ayah 6 on our journey to learn and implement Surah Al-Hujurat. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة فتصبحوا على ما فعلتم نادمين. All those who believe, if a sinful person brings you a report, verify its correctness, lest you harm a people out of ignorance and then become remorseful on what you did. So, يا أيها الذين آمنوا, those of you who believe, إن جاءكم فاسق, if it comes to you an evil person, بنبأ, with knowledge, فتبينوا, then verify it. So a fasiq's, a sinner's information is based on doubt and assumption. And he doesn't have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because of that, the sins don't pinch him as much. And he blows the lies and the things out of proportion. There's a saying, إِذَا قِيلَ وَقَالَ, he hears something and passes it on. And this is what a fasiq does. Without even checking anything, they just send off the information. And this shows a lack of honesty and integrity. And with it, there's a severe punishment for spreading lies, as we already know that it's wrong to spread lies.
Once Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was shown a person by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whose cheek was being torn with an iron hook back and forth. And he asked, he ﷺ asked, who is this person? And this is the person who spreads lies and tells the people to spread those lies all over the world. So then, فَتَبَيَّنُوا, verify it. And the root is ba, alif, nun. And it's basically to verify it, to make it clear and come to the light so it's obvious to everybody. It should be crystal clear and everything should be separated. So these are some questions you can ask when you're trying to verify some information. You should check, is it coming from a reliable source? Does it make sense? Does it harm anybody? Where is this info coming from? And do you have proof? And if you don't have proof, then you should not say it. Okay. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates 3 things for us. And one of them is that we hear something and we just pass along. And this is fisq. Because maybe you will harm a group of people ignorantly, out of whim. You might end up saying something that might really hurt someone. And for you, it just might be a casual conversation over chai. But for somebody, it destroys their reputation and it hurts them so much. And it's really bad. So there's a story that once Banu Mustalik, they embraced Islam, there's a certain day for them to pay zakat. And they're wondering, where's the emissary, the person who comes to get the zakat? He was supposed to come from Medina. So they go out to look for him. And this was in the desert. When you go in the desert, you have to be armed. And it's also good to have a group of people for safety and protection because there was bad people in the desert as well. So they all went ready and the emissary was coming now. And he sees this bunch of people with arms and weapons in the middle of the desert in the distance. And he thinks, oh my God, they're coming to attack. They're coming to fight. They're refusing to pay the zakat. So he runs to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and he told him that Banu Mustalik denied zakat and they're coming to attack us. Inshallah, we will learn more about the story in the next ayahs. But for now, let's see what we can learn from this story. So what do we learn here? That we have to avoid gossip, tattletales, false information, and we should also check our facts before we communicate the information. So there was a study in psychology of communication that they took 40 people and they told the first person, Bob pushed Joe and Joe fell down, okay? And then they whispered it to the next person and the next person and so on until they got to the last person. And they asked the last person, what did you hear? And he heard that Bob ran Joe over with a car and burned his house down and now did who knows what with his family. And so this is how lies get spread and they get blown out of proportion. What I said and what you thought I said were 2 very different things. So if we communicate and that person communicates that different interpretation, what they thought, and then they share it, little by little it changes and it becomes this huge snowball. And so if somebody has a problem, we should talk to the person who we have a problem with. But instead, if you talk to another person and another person and another person, that problem was tiny, but by the time the whole community hears about it, it becomes this big snowball mountain and it's so hard to stop it. And now everybody is angry and upset. We have to do something about this. This is something so big. But, well, actually, this isn't so big because when we make it a big deal, it will be a big deal. So keep it a small deal and it will stay a small deal. And what else do we learn? We learned the danger of misinformation. This is something we have heard so many times, but do we really take the time to check what we are sharing is accurate on Facebook, Instagram, all the social medias? Instead of acting on impulse, we should find our source and our proof and investigate if it's the right thing. Because when we don't, things might get blown out of proportion when we talk casually, but not cautiously. So when we talk, we should be cautious, just as in whatever else we do. Because then if we do something wrong and it turns out to be something really bad, we will regret it. We will be shameful for that. because we didn't even realize what we did. And this is why we should communicate cautiously, not carelessly. Jazakallah khair.
All right, thank you, Fatima, for that presentation. I especially liked how you talked about fake news and making sure that you're cautious when you share things. Make sure that everything that you're sharing is authentic. So thank you very much for that lesson, Fatima. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for the 11th day. It's already been, we're already a third of the way through Ramadan. There's only 20 more days left. So we'll see you guys tomorrow